So this one's definitely not one of my proudest moments. Definitely a mistake that shouldn't have been made. But it makes for a good story. So I hope you guys enjoy this story time. If you do, leave a like on the video. And let's just get into it. Yeah, really no other way to start this. So today's story time is about the time I accidentally ate a bunch of mushrooms. Yeah, let's go. So this all starts off back when I was 18 years old, just like yesterday's story. Around the same time, too. This actually takes place, like, I think 2 or 3 weeks after yesterday's story time. So, yeah, I really thought nothing could possibly go wrong any further. I thought that, my bad luck was done for the month and I was going to have some good things happen to me. Unfortunately, I was wrong. So, today's story all starts off as a regular day at 18 years old, okay? I was at my mom's house. I woke up pretty early in the morning on this day. I remember it was like 8:30 or like 8:45. I woke up like pretty early for my standards. Usually I'm up at like, 2 p.m. So I woke up pretty early. I got breakfast with my mom. I went back to my house and I was just sitting in the living room on my phone scrolling Twitter like I normally would. And while I was scrolling Twitter, I got a text message from one of my good friends at the time. We'll just call his friend Tyler, okay? Tyler texted me while I was sitting on my mom's couch just scrolling Twitter. And he says, "Yo, what you doing?" And I was like, "Nothing. What about you?" He's like, "Nothing right now. You busy in like an hour?" And I was like, "No, not really. Why? What's up?" He's like, "I'm just bored, trying to chill, do something." I was like, "Yeah, man, of course." So fast forward an hour later, Tyler picks me up. We went to the mall for a little bit, went and got some food. And we just kind of were driving around at this point, bumping music, just kind of aimlessly driving, not really anything to do. Now, about 20 minutes into just driving aimlessly, I had the idea of calling up another friend of ours, which was a terrible idea in hindsight. We had this friend, we'll just call him Ethan, okay? Ethan was like a psychedelic connoisseur. Like, for his age of 18 years old, he was much more obsessed than the average human being. So yeah, I had this idea to hit up Ethan because Ethan was always fun to hang out with, and he usually didn't get us into situations that I would regret, so I hit him up, right? So he hits me back like within 10 minutes, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not doing anything. Let's kick it." So we went to Ethan's house. We picked him up. We went to a movie together, and then after the movies, we went back to Ethan's house. So it's just me, Ethan, and Tyler chilling on Ethan's basement couch, just hanging out at his house. And Ethan asks us if we want to try these edibles he made. And I was like, "What kind of edibles?" He's like, "Psychedelic brownies." Now, I hadn't heard that term ever. I was like, "What? Psychedelic brownies? What does that even mean?" He's like, like brownies with shrooms in them. I was like, "You can do that?" He's like, "Yeah, man." And I was like, "How?" And he starts explaining how he like infused his psilocybin mushrooms into these brownies and how he cooks them and all this stuff. And I was like, "Oh, okay. That's crazy. I think I'll pass, but good to know, I guess." And he's like, "All right, man, well, let me know if you change your mind." I'm like, "Will do." Now, that just blew my mind, because when he said, "You want to try these edibles," I thought he was talking about some, like pot cookies, pot brownies, like something like real simple, very standard vanilla edibles, you know what I mean? Like real basic shit. But this dude made shroom edibles, which was crazy. Now, me and Tyler both ended up saying no. We just were not in the mood to go on a trip, so we said no. And he was cool with that. Ethan's not some dude that's going to peer pressure you or, like, make you do something you're uncomfortable with. So, he's like, "Yeah, just let me know if you guys change your mind," basically. So fast forward, like an hour into the night, Ethan falls asleep. He passes out on his couch right next to me, just nods off. And I start getting real hungry. So like any hungry friend does, I, tiptoed my way up to the kitchen and start looking around for something to snack on. Now, he had a few things to choose from, okay? In his fridge, he had some leftover, like, Italian food. And in his, like, pantry/closet in the kitchen, there was some homemade stuff. There was some cookies, there was some brownies, and then there was some, like, random, like, pastry-looking thing. I don't even know what it was, but either way, I knew not to touch those brownies because he literally told me earlier in the night that he made, like, shroom brownies. So any brownies in that kitchen, I was not touching because I did not trust them. So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to eat some of this Italian food in the fridge because, I don't really know what's in what. I don't want to, like, accidentally eat some pastry and have it have, like, LSD in it or something. So I'm just going to eat these, Italian food leftovers and go downstairs. So I did. I ate some of this spaghetti. Pretty mid, can't lie. No offense to his family's cooking. It just didn't hold up that well in the fridge. Most Italian food doesn't. But anyway, after that, I was relatively full. I went downstairs, I sat back down on the couch, and Tyler looks at me and he's like, "Dude, I am fucking starving. Did you just eat something?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, 'cause I can smell it. It smells mad good upstairs. And I was like, yeah, it was like some spaghetti. He's like, is there anything left? And I was like, well, as for the spaghetti, no. He's like, dude, come on, you fucking hog. You ate all of it? I was like, there wasn't that much. I'm not even that full. He's like, all right, well, what else is there? I'm like, there's some like baked stuff in the pantry, but I don't trust it because he told me that he made psychedelic edibles and I don't know which is which. I know the brownies are for sure edibles, so don't eat those. And he's like, ah, damn it. So he went upstairs and he was up there for like 5-10 minutes. And he comes back down finally, right? He has this plate. And on the plate, there's some potato chips, there's some Doritos, both of which I have no idea where he got from. I did not see those anywhere upstairs. And he had 2 cookies and 2 of those pastry things I was talking about. And I was like, yo, aren't you worried that like those might be edibles? He's like, nah, he said that they were brownies specifically, right? He said they were like shroom brownies. I was like, yeah, I think so. Like that's what yeah, he said brownies. He's like, yeah, he definitely said brownies. And I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, so I'm not worried. So my friend clears his plate super quick. He eats it within like 10 minutes. And after that, I kind of just waited to see if anything would happen to him because I didn't know if he accidentally ate an edible or not. And about an hour later, he was feeling fine. Nothing out of the ordinary. Everything was all good. So to me, that kind of confirmed that those sweets in the pantry were not psychedelic sweets. They were just regular ass baked stuff, right? And I was like, okay, that's good to know. Sure enough, like an hour later, Tyler falls asleep. So I'm like, okay, he definitely didn't eat any psychedelics because he would not be asleep. I'm getting kind of hungry again. I'm going to go steal one of those cookies. So I went upstairs and my dumbass ends up eating like 5 of these cookies. Like 5. And they were big cookies. And I ate a shit ton of them. So after I ate them, I was very full. My stomach was on the verge of hurting. And I was very tired. So I went downstairs. I laid down on the couch where everyone else was laying down in a very uncomfortable position because my friends were taking up all of the room. But somehow I ended up falling asleep within like 10 minutes. Like literally I laid down, I got real exhausted, and I fell asleep. Now I woke up an hour and a half later, absolutely tripping balls. I woke up to weird sounds. It sounded like an air raid siren was going off, like very faintly in the distance. And I woke up to it, and I look over at the TV, and the TV's on some like random channel, just playing some commercial. But the sound makes no sense. It sounds like an air raid siren mixed with like random like cutting in and out voices. And the TV is fucking moving. And not the screen itself, but the actual outline of the TV. Like the box and the cable box on top of it are moving. Like waving almost. Like a wave was going through it. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I thought I was dying. Like, honestly, I thought that this was my final moments. I thought my brain was just releasing a shit ton of DMT because I was crossing over the bridge to death. And I'm like, holy shit, this is it. Like, I'm going to die. So I woke up my friend, Tyler, and I was like, Tyler, I think something's wrong. Like, I think I'm having a heart attack or something. And he wakes up and he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, dude, I don't know. Like, I just don't feel good. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, what's wrong? I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm hearing things, and like the TV looked like it was moving, and like, I just don't know. And then he goes, did you eat any of those brownies? And I was like, no. And he goes, what'd you eat then? And I was like, nothing, just some cookies and that Italian food. And he's like, how many cookies? I was like, 5. He's like, fucking 5? They were huge. And I was like, that's not important, dude. Like, I don't feel good. And he's like, okay, well, like, I ate those cookies and I was fine. Like, I'm not tripping balls or anything. So, like, maybe you are having, like, a problem. And I was like, thanks, Tyler. Real, reassuring. And while I'm talking to Tyler, Ethan wakes up. And Ethan's like, what's going on? And I was like, dude, I don't know. Like, I just woke up. My heart's pounding. Like, I can hear things. I'm seeing things. Like, I feel like I'm dying. And he's like, did you eat any of those brownies? That was everyone's first question. Did I eat the brownies? And I was like, no. I had some of the cookies, though. He's like, how many of them did you have? And, like, he got real serious. He, like, sat up and shit. So I knew something was in these cookies. And I was like, Ethan, what the fuck were in those cookies? He's like, shrooms, dude. Shrooms. I told you I made shroom edibles. I was like, you told us you made brownies. You didn't say anything about cookies. He's like, dude, the cookies and the brownies are both edibles. And then Tyler speaks up. He's like, hey, I have one of those cookies. And he's like, well, you should be seeing stuff. And he's like, I'm not. And I'm like, what? And we're all just so confused right now. And I'm like, wait, what about those, like, pastries? Like, Tyler had those too. And Ethan's like, no, those are fine. My mom made those. Those are all clear. And I was like, fuck. So I ate 5 of these shroom cookie things. And I'm seeing shit, I'm hearing shit, my heart's pounding, I'm dizzy, like I'm just freaking out. Like I can't tell if it's anxiety or the trip that's making me feel this way, but everything's not good. And I pretty much just had to sit up and put both hands on the couch and just hold on and just hope that the rest of the trip wouldn't be this bad. And it was pretty much the entirety of the trip, which lasted basically all night. I'd say for a good 4 hours, I did not feel good. Yeah, it just sucked. And Ethan and Tyler, the good friends they are, stayed up with me all night and made sure I was good. And the entire night, Tyler didn't feel a thing. He didn't see a thing. And me and Ethan were so confused by that. Honestly, my theory, and pretty much all their theory, is this. The cookies were just weak edibles, or at least the one Tyler ate was. It just didn't have enough of, the psilocybin shrooms in it. And I ate 5 of them. So 1 versus 5 cookies, obviously I'm going to have stronger effects. And if they were on the weak side, 1 might not do it for somebody. So yeah, I'm guessing Tyler just had a weak one or just didn't eat enough to see or feel anything or hear anything. And I ate 5, so I felt, saw, and heard everything. So yeah, we rode the rest of the trip out together. It sucked really bad. I was super uncomfortable, and I actually ended up throwing up like a couple hours into it, which sucked. But in the end, a few hours later, I felt okay, and I was able to go back to sleep and just kind of rest. And that whole next day, my stomach was just off. I could barely eat. I didn't feel good. I had to eat crackers and toast and shit. And I learned a valuable lesson about eating things when I get hungry at Ethan's house. Wake him up first and ask, because clearly I made some wrong choices. And Tyler did too, but he got lucky. So yeah, moral of the story is, if you have a friend that likes to make edibles, be careful before you eat random things in their kitchen. Yeah, that's simple. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the story time. If you did and you liked it, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.